Hey everybody, Gooey here,
And Masis?
and this is our ongoing discussions where we focus in on a topic in The Legend of Zelda, right now specifically Breath of the Wild. We're looking for a name for this segment, so
We were thinking the Hyrule Compendium, and then every episode is a new entry.
yeah, so let us know if you like that or if you have a good idea, leave it in the comments. Today we're going to talk about a comment that Steve Cherry left, where he said, "I don't like that they have seemed to taken the character out of Ganon. He's no longer a person, he's just a thing." What do you think about that?
Oh, agree. Completely.
You don't like that at all?
I don't. No, I agree with the comment. That is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's cool that they do flesh out, a lot of his backstory. It's like Calamity Ganon's coming back, it's so there's this danger, and he's sort of like a known commodity because he's in the backstory, he's in the history, but we don't really know what happened in the past really, other than 100 years ago. But clearly stuff happened before then involving him, and they only loosely mention it. So he's kind of always there in the backstory, but they never actually get into specific details about him. And then once you actually fight him and once you actually see him, there's not much there. Calamity Ganon looks just like the different Blight Ganons, as we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And then he eventually takes the form of the Beast form, which is more akin to his Twilight Princess form. I that's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
Except bigger, I think.
Much bigger.
That was cool. It's kind of a throwback.
Mm-hmm.
But I like I like how Ganondorf felt more of a character in Ocarina of Time, because you sort of see him evolve, going from just a regular person kind of to his rise of power.
Yes.
And I like those types of Ganondorfs.
There was even a Gerudo in this game, I think, that made reference to him in Ocarina of Time. Maybe it was one of the major characters. I'm not totally sure, but I remember them saying, "Oh, once Calamity Ganon had taken form as a Gerudo," and I think Urbosa felt even more motivated to stop him because she felt like that was a slight on the Gerudos.
I think I remember that vaguely. Yeah.
So I feel like that almost not retcons, but it changes a little bit about Ganondorf's backstory, as we know, because it's almost like Calamity Ganon is now this reincarnation where he, I guess that's how it always was, but it felt like before where Ganondorf was more of a character, I thought.
Yeah, he was. But the thing with Ganon is, despite, with the timeline and all the different games, it's always only been one Ganon. Mm-hmm. It's always been the same Ganon forever and ever, I think. I can't imagine. I mean, I think Demise is a completely separate character, and it sort of says, people are going to... New evils are going to keep cropping up, and it's through him, through Demise, basically. Mm-hmm. But I think it's the same Ganon over and over. I don't necessarily think it really retcons anything. I don't think there's anything...
Okay. They're almost treating Ganon in this game, or Calamity Ganon, like Demise, where it's this force that keeps coming back. They actually refer to Calamity Ganon as it in this game.
Okay.
Whereas I don't think Zelda games have done that before.
Okay.
They're really trying to push it as not a creature, but a force, or this evil thing. And so it didn't actually retcon it, but it almost changed its perception in my mind.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know if this was in the game or if this was in a discussion after, where he's kind of given up on trying to be revived at this point, because he's not there. He's just trying to butcher the world at this point with his malice, as opposed to the vast majority of Zelda games where he's in Ganon form. He's trying to return. He's trying to return to true form,
and take power, not just destroy everything.
Right, yeah. He's like that in the Oracle of Ages and Seasons. They're trying to revive him, and it doesn't work. In Four Swords Adventures, it's sort of the same thing. And yeah, that's sort of been his thing. But I think
They do this in other games, but they talk in the legend about how Zelda and Link fight Ganon over and over and over. So it almost, it seems to like they fought Ganon so much they were almost refer to these other games where at this point Ganon's not a thing anymore. It's just a being that keeps coming back, and they have to fight it again. Yeah. So I kind of like that. I liked, it's kind of cool when they call Ganon an it. It made it very.
Didn't catch that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember who does that. I think Zelda does actually, but it makes it even more intimidating.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's also partially to get out of the fact that there's kind of a loose narrative already. Mm-hmm. So we already talked with the story does a weird job of the character building because it's kind of disjointed depending on how you do it. So I feel like the easier option in this game, with it being so open-ended, is, well, you just go fight the big evil, and we're not going to see like in Wind Waker or even Twilight Princess a more like complex story told for the character.
Yeah,
because it's just a thing to go fight in the end.
Right. Yeah, I especially think Ganondorf in Wind Waker had by far the most backstory of any other Ganondorf, because like his motives are a little different, and like you see him throughout the game. Mm-hmm. He's probably my favorite version of Ganon.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Specifically with Breath of the Wild, one thing they did very, very good with, I think, with this game is, I think wherever you are in the overworld, you can turn and face, and you can always see Hyrule Castle. Mm-hmm. Almost wherever you are. If you're right on the other side of a cliff or something, you can't see it, but So his presence he's like always there.
Yeah.
And it's always uncomfortable, like looking in that direction,
Yeah, especially you're like, it's put alongside all these like beautiful sceneries and stuff like that. So then you turn towards Ganon and oh no, I don't like that. So yeah, I guess there's some pros and cons to it being told that way. But maybe if they did some DLC, they could flesh out some of the backstory of Ganon or something like that.
Yeah, perhaps. How far back are they?
10,000 years or...
we were talking about, it makes reference to 10,000 years ago, but we don't even know what that reference is. Like, is that to still... Like, I don't remember if that was to Twilight Princess. Is that to Skyward Sword? Or is it to an event that happened after Twilight Princess that we still don't know of?
Yeah, it almost seems like something after, because they're talking about all this Sheikah technology, which we've never seen in any other games, really. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Every time a Zelda game comes out, I always expect them to, especially now that the timeline is more of a thing, that they're gonna build off of some other games, make more direct references. But in this one, they instead, let's set it much farther in the future, and that way you don't have to worry as much about like, how does it tie into the games? Well, it doesn't matter because it's thousands and thousands of years in the future.
I don't think there's very few connections actually, story-wise, to even the games that it fits in line with. This is clearly after Twilight Princess, and it references like the hero of Twilight, or the hero who something with Twilight.
Yeah, they say whether it's Skyward or through time or through Twilight. Yeah.
So it follows that linearity of links, I guess. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of it. There's a few there's you find the mirror of Twilight.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And there's a lot of reference to all the games, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint. Like there's a section called Arbiter's Grounds, but it's like there's also Molita Island. So
yeah, who knows? Yeah, or isn't there? There's some Link's Awakening.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I would say I guess I'd add that even though I maybe made a defense that this version of Ganon is so that they could have this open-ended story, I feel like you could at least get some story moments like they did with the Divine Beasts, where at least if you're having to fight whatever blight Ganon over and over, that maybe they could have included a little bit of story, kind of like when you encounter Phantom Ganon in Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
He talks to you a little bit after you fight him.
You know, it would have been nice to have like once you get to the top of Hyrule Castle and you fall down into the Sanctum where the boss battle takes place.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a cutscene in there where not just the cutscene of like the Divine Beast attacking, but I mean like I don't know if Calamity Ganon had text or something, like if it talked.
Yeah.
Just a little back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Or even some backstory being told right then and there.
That would have been pretty cool. What did you guys think of Ganon's portrayal in this game, and would you like to see them return to a more fleshed out character, or if they go this way in the future, what would you like to see in general? And let us know if you have any other topics you'd like us to cover. Thanks.